The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
The Beneficent, the Merciful. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Welcome to Liberated Sisters, streaming live right here at Morris Media Studios. Did you miss me? I miss you. I was out last week on a mission. Pardon that intro. It was hectic everywhere where I was, but I'm happy to be back. Also happy to have had the opportunity to broadcast last week the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's 24th anniversary message of the historic Million Man March. I hope that you were able to go back and look at it, view it, study it, hear it, see him for yourself. If not, go to noi.org. It's there, the full message. Please do yourself a favor and also others spread the message. In today's Liberated Sisters, we're going to hear from student minister Andre Muhammad of, I think it's South Haven, Mississippi. He's going to talk to us about the Project Separation tour, which is making its stop in Mississippi on this Saturday. Also, we're going to highlight the women in Islam. We're featuring our own Sister Donna Muhammad of Muhammad Mosque number 55 in Memphis. Sister Donna is doing great big things, as well as student minister Andre. And we will be hearing from them both, inshallah, which means God willing, very soon. But first, the Justice Report. Today's Justice Report comes out of the Final Call newspaper, a gut punch, but it's news that we must talk about. There is the cover story, and if we could just keep that right there, I want you to look down at that center left screen, that lower left screen, Tatiana Jefferson. She's 28 years old, and she was killed by Aaron Dean, an officer, a white male officer in Fort Worth, Texas, while she was in her own home playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew. This happened right in front of her nephew, who is traumatized, and this cover story is talking about blaming the victims. So in the Final Call, we talk about with the police shooting death of this black woman inside her home, the authorities claim that she pointed a gun toward a window, but neither the cop involved nor another cop at the scene said they saw a gun. So the Final Call talked to analysts, we interviewed attorneys and activists, even her neighbor who placed a well-care call to the police. They said that it's time to stop smearing and blaming those killed in police or vigilante violence. And, they're not responsible for their own deaths. So residents, activists, advocates are angry. Fort Worth is the flashpoint right now. Also in the Final Call newspaper, Sister Nisa Islam wrote about convicted and suspected dirty cops, how hundreds of tainted cases and hundreds of police officers with tainted reputations signal trouble for Baltimore crime fighting and efforts to obtain justice, because State Attorney Marilyn Mosby is saying that she's got to toss those out because the cops are not clean enough to come essentially to testify. But those stories and more are at the Final Call newspaper, victimizing victims and the smearing of black lives, right? So student minister Ava Muhammad is in the report. She talks about how we feed the narrative. The person was unarmed. The person was a good boy, a good girl, as if those who had any blemish on their record deserved death. We talked to attorney Peter Bibring of the ACLU. We talked to attorney Lee Merritt, who is the family attorney. And so Tatiana was supposed to be buried. Her funeral was supposed to take place on Saturday. However, there is a stay. If the family is not in court now, then they were going to be in court earlier. Several members that were talking to the judge because her biological father has put a stay. He got a restraining order for the funeral. And so for those of you who have answered Liberated Sisters' call for help to get there, thank you so much for responding. So I will have further updates for you on when we will actually be going down. So thank you so much for your contributions to Liberated Sisters. And now the Farrakhan Factor is next.
I was told to deliver this message. You think you're invincible because you got money, bombs, guns, and planes, killing babies, innocent people. I think you're insane. Chaos and destruction is the name of your game. Somebody's got to stop you before the whole world goes up in flames. So he told me to tell you, I'll fight for my brothers. We can go to war.
I just wanted to hear it a little bit. So in this Farrakhan Factor, we're going to play a snippet, just a brief excerpt of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan himself talking about the importance of being righteous. And he's really laying out that none of us really, whether we say we're Christian, Muslim, Jews, that we have a long way to go and that, mankind has really been devilish. So this message, again, the 24th anniversary of the Million Man March, you can read about it. We have part 2 in the Final Call newspaper, the coverage marking that message, and also a beautiful photo spread. I don't want to show you here. I want you to go to finalcall.com as soon as you can and look at the images from across the world, not just the nation, the world of the coverage. But right now, here's a brief message from Minister Farrakhan, guidance and instructions to us all.
Did you think that you were holy because you're in church? Don't deceive yourself any longer. The church is full of devils. The mosque is full of devils. The synagogue is full of devils. Stop it. Don't argue with me because I got the truth. And I'm going to hurl it at falsehood until it knocks out the brains of falsehood. So if you want to hold on to the false idea that you are somehow holy, I'm going to finish that quick. No, there's nothing holy in here. Well, aren't you in here, Farrakhan? Yes, I'm in here. Are you holy? No. But who supports me? Who backs me? Who covers me is holy. So I stand in his holiness to reach out to my fellow sinners.
Man, leave Farrakhan alone. NOI.org. You can also go to the Nation of Islam on YouTube. That was about a 2-hour and 10-minute message that the minister delivered, pure, uncut, and that was actually short. I would like to know, what do you all think about the message? Did you hear it? Have you been still studying it? Share that with me. I'm posting online, Facebook. You can also go to the chat room because we're streaming live at morrismedialive.com. What do you think about the 2019 message from Minister Farrakhan regarding the Holy Day of Atonement? And now his national spokesperson, he's just coming himself. He's moving across the country, the world. He's got student minister flamethrowers out there like student minister Ava Muhammad, and she is on a tour. And the question that she is asking on behalf of the minister is, should blacks and the indigenous consider separation? So as we get ready to hear from Minister Ava, I want to play a PSA right now as she gets ready to head into Mississippi. I do want to say thank you again for all of your support, and I am going to start. I'm coming out of my shell and my reluctance with the encouragement of my great sister here and others to, it's okay to ask for help. So we do need your help to keep the show on the air here at Morris Media Studios, Liberated Sisters, as well as Pumps on the Ground. So you can cash app $ Sis Charlene. Also, we have the book coming out, Pumps on the Ground. Minister Ava did the forward. We have some, great interviews we're going to drop along with the book. So right now, let me not pitch too hard. Cash App, we'll put that on the screen if you want to contribute and donate. I'm extremely grateful for your support, financially and otherwise, for Liberated Sisters, your prayers. But let's hear Minister Ava Muhammad.
You see how the white man did us, dog. They let them go and they gonna keep killing us. It ain't gonna never stop, man.
I will read this to you. We want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land, and that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. Since we cannot get along with them in peace and equality, after giving them 400 years of our sweat and blood and receiving in return some of the worst treatment human beings have ever experienced, we believe our contributions to this land and the suffering forced upon us by white America justifies our demand for our complete separation in a state or territory of our own. Now, the Honorable, all praise is due to Allah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I want to have the chance, unhindered, to teach the time and what must be done to every black man, woman, and child in America. And after we teach that subject, then we should take a vote as to how many of us want to stay with our open enemy, or how many of us want to be separated from them in a land of our own.
Wow. It's a question. You can't argue with the question, right? I would like to know what you feel about this. Should blacks and the indigenous consider separation? We're going to bring now in Student Minister Andre Muhammad to talk about what's getting ready to happen in Mississippi. Brother Andre, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm blacktastic and getting better every moment.
You said blacktastic? I like it. Praise be to Allah. Brother Andre, thank you so much. Now, you are our newly acquired, newly appointed student minister. Is it South Haven or Holly Springs?
It's Holly Springs, Mississippi, man.
Holly Springs, Mississippi. You have to say Mississippi, Brother Andre.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what's getting, and I say that because can you remind us the brother was hung there, and we did not get justice. It was a couple of decades ago, and the minister did a message, and I just remember him saying Mississippi, and he told us to watch the weather, right?
Yes, that's the. And first of all, sister, let me say to you, thank you so much for even considering myself, to be on today's program. It is such an honor. And let me first give thanks to Allah and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his work and his unyielding and sustained effort to awaken our people to the time and what must be done.
Praise
there are many more thanks that I would like to give, but I definitely want to give those two in particular. And definitely a shout out to Sister Student Minister Emeritus of Holly Springs, Mississippi, Sister Patricia Muhammad, and the believers there.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
That sister held it down for over 20 years.
Ooh,
She ain't
alhamdulillah.
going nowhere. I'm keeping her right next to me because she's full of information, and she is a big help in the furtherance of the establishment of Islam in the state of Mississippi.
Come on.
But sister, that particular lecture was the decisive one for me personally.
Wow.
In 1993 was where one of the sons of one of the believers was hung in Mississippi. And I think the title of that lecture was The Wrath of Allah, where the minister challenged the clergy there to pray to their God that he would save Mississippi, and he's going to pray to his God to destroy it. I remember it clearly.
Wow.
Many of the passages and some of the things down below as Farrakhan said. So, yes, ma'am, that one stands out clearly in my mind. As it does many down here in the Delta.
Yeah.
Yes,
And Mississippi got wiped. I mean, it's just a lot of what the minister said, but just the way he's, Mississippi.
Yes,
I was nowhere near the nation, but I'd heard that and I was like, wow,
Okay.
Well,
and to say, in addition, the result of that was the flood that happened all the way down to the Gulf. And I personally asked myself, who is this? And September 21st, 1993, I recited and became a registered member of the Nation of Islam.
Wow.
That event happened in June.
Wow.
And the unfortunate reality, even today, is that kind of thing persists in the state of Mississippi. There's an inordinate number of our brothers and sisters ending up dead while in Mississippi Department of Corrections custody. So it persists to this very moment.
Wow. Around the world, but I hear what you're saying, especially in Mississippi. Yeah. It's not getting better, it's getting worse. As he said it would, right? The minister did say it would. And thus, we have his national spokesperson, student minister Dr. Ava Muhammad, on her way to talk about should blacks consider separation?
Yes, ma'am.
What's in store down there?
Yes, ma'am. We are very excited about and anticipation of her coming to North Mississippi. And let me send shout out to the Black Liberation Movement, our nationalist family, who's doing this in conjunction with us to put this on in North Mississippi. And I'm so excited. I'm finding it difficult to put it in words sometimes. As I understand it in our history, Mississippi is a special state in the heart and mind of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as well as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So our desire as believers, certainly mine, as I strive to be a better helper in this cause, is to move as best and strategically as possible in the state of Mississippi to go after our people. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. And so where will the town hall be held, inshallah?
It's going to take place October 26th, that's this Saturday, in Coldwater, Mississippi, at the People's Choice Event Center. That's located at 446 Central Avenue in Coldwater, Mississippi.
Wow. And so,
Yes,
thank you. Who are some of the other panelists that will be featured at the town hall?
Well, we're going to, of course, our sister, student minister, and national spokesperson,
Our champion. That's right.
Yeah.
Champion.
Yes, very effective and one of the best voice and representative of this particular topic. We also have Brother Patrick Alexander, who is the lead person, along with his co-lead, Patrick Alexander, of the Black Liberation Movement, along with Sister Crystal Giles Davis of the Black Liberation Movement, and I will be a part of that panel as well. It'll be moderated by my big brother, and shout out to Muhammad number 55, Double Nichols of Carver House of the South. That's my home. That's where I was born.
Right.
Student Minister Anthony Muhammad will be moderating.
That's right.
The town hall meeting.
Yeah, in case you don't know, that is our great Ramadan prayer line, the Tsunami Prayer Line host facilitator. That's right.
Yes, that's him. That's the brother.
Tell me about the energy right now in the run-up to the town hall. What's the buzz on the ground? You know, I want to hear about the ground. I like the ground.
But that's where you hear everything. You know, the mainstream is not necessarily where everything is happening.
Oh, yeah. They don't want that.
To the dismay of many and our detractors. But the buzz down here in the South and in the Delta, sister, is great. Thanks and kudos to the believers, the brothers and sisters, including myself. We're hitting the ground, getting the word out. We've got a public PSA that we put together and have distributed it to those who would play it and make it public information, and we've gotten good support. We've gotten good support from local radio programs and stations that are willing to alert the public that our sister is en route to North Mississippi. So the buzz is great. The energy is great.
Right, right. Thank you for your great picture, too, Brother Andre. That lavender, that purple, that's my color right there.
Oh, praises.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm thinking about, as we prepare to go there, right, the, you know, the documentary that Tim and Tobias Smith did, The Cotton Picking Truth, right? Are you familiar with it?
I'm vaguely familiar. I've heard a lot about it, but I have not been blessed or had the opportunity to actually watch it.
Yeah. Yes. We've done a couple of interviews with them on my show that runs at KPFK. I think we, I don't remember doing one here, but I think we need to actually show their documentary here. I will speak to the brothers, and we need to not let that die, because the reason for the separation tour, in part, that brings that to mind for me, like someone in the 60s, you know, on the plantation in modern day slavery, right? Our great ancestor, Brother Dick Gregory, was just one of many, you know, our professor, Dr. Charles Ogletree, another, that were interviewed by them, but the interviews that they did with people who were actually still on a plantation and not really aware that they could leave, you know?
Yes, and there's a place in Mississippi called Sugar Ditch.
Sugar Ditch.
That I had the opportunity to visit. And, I mean, just to put it succinctly and just to the point of it, it was like traveling back in time, maybe 50 or more years. And that was, what year was that? It's been at least 10 years ago that I went there, where our people, sisters, the floor in the houses, if you can even characterize it as a house, I would call it a habitation. It was a floor. It was the dirt floor. They had no electricity. They had no running water. And it's not too far from Memphis, Tennessee. So these are some of the kind of conditions under which our people are still living in 2018. And I'm starting to learn the terrain, the history, and thanks to the believers in Greenville, Mississippi, in particular, Minister Larry Muhammad, along with Brother Kareem, they're helping me to learn more as much as possible about the history of Mississippi, that I can have a perspective from which, and a lens through which to look as we assess what we need to do there.
Wow. Sugar ditch. No, absolutely. Cotton picking truth. And
yes, ma'am.
I'll send you the link to the past show, but let's talk some more about what are the issues facing people there, in addition to what you shared about sugar ditch. What are some of the, unique to Mississippi, if there's anything that's unique? Because as we know, across the country, our people are just experiencing the same thing: homelessness, poverty, police brutality, right? Poor health care. We're at the bottom of every indicator. But is there anything unique to Mississippi that you all will be bringing to Dr. Ava's attention?
Well, honestly, no. Nothing unique.
Got it.
The only difference is it's a bit more acute and frequent in the Delta, because Mississippi, as I was mentioning earlier about the number of deaths of our people while in custody in prison, Mississippi has made the news, and up to 16 to 20 plus of our people dying in prison within a month.
Oh, my gosh.
So this is the kind of thing that's going on, the health disparity. In fact, by way of student minister Carlos Muhammad out of Baltimore, in his stead, brother asked me, because he found out I was right there, had just been recently appointed to Holly Springs. They had a Black Empowerment Politics, Faith, and Empowerment Summit in Tunica, and as a result of that one, we were blessed to be invited to a discussion panel regarding the health disparities in Cleveland, Mississippi. And the health disparities that our people are dealing with down in the Delta are far more acute than they are on the national level. So, like I said, the same issues, but they're worse, particularly where health is concerned.
Yeah.
And, of course, we, as we shared, how to eat to live, and the fact that Mississippi has a significant farm community. So, in essence, the answer to many of those problems is right at our feet. We just need to be made awakened to the idea and the fact that we got to get our mouth out of the enemy's kitchen, and not just out of his kitchen. We got to get it off his farm, too.
Wow, that's right. I remember the minister told us that in the near future, we would not be able to eat if we were not growing what we ate. Like, we would have to be growing, literally, our own food in order to survive. Well, Brother Andre, thank you so much. I pulled up what you were saying, as well as I know you do have to take leave, and we're going to bring in Sister Donna Muhammad to continue on with our dialogue on the women in Islam. But 16 prisoners in 1 month. And the report I'm looking at is 2018. Like, this is not back then. This is current, modern day. And the families are saying that they don't know why. So we have a lot. But it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But it will get better. But we have something to do, right, Brother Andre?
We just got something to do. I mean, we told this was coming, and the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has constantly and faithfully warned us that at a certain point in time that this country and those who don't want to see us free, our open enemies, will show themselves to us.
Yeah.
That is happening as we speak.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you, God willing, in Mississippi. And
more than happy to see you, Sister Charlene. And let me send you some cool, sister. You've been on the post and on the battlefield for Muhammad for a long. I remember when I first came in the ranks, I would see you scurrying to and fro with your camera.
Yes,
I was like, this is
Praise be to Allah. Like you, I want to thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I do thank him for allowing me to serve and work out my salvation, through the Final Call newspaper under his great editor, Brother Richard Muhammad. And so, we serve at the pleasure of the Lord, right?
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. On the battlefield for my Lord.
That's right. Now, before you go, can you just do the Adon real quick? Not for everybody, this is Brother Andre who who launches at a dawn every morning on the Ramadan prayer line. Brother, thank you so much for such a clear call that beckons us to prayer.
Praises be to Allah, ma'am. It was an honor. And let me thank my big brother, student minister Jamil Muhammad,
yes,
who would come to Memphis and feed us Islam at the behest of our brother, student minister Anthony Muhammad. And I did it after a Sunday meeting, and Brother Jamil told me, he called me when the idea came up through, as he calls her, the Tsunami Mommy.
That's right, Sister Nisa.
And he gave me a call. He said, brother, and that was, the rest is history.
Praise be to Allah.
I need the ABCD.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Brother Minister Jamil. See, we don't know how these things come together, but he was happen to be there. And thank you, Sister Nisa. We won't even start with all of the list of those. There's so many that contribute to the Tsunami Prayer Line. So thank you, Sister Nisa, for having that great thought by Allah's grace. And Brother Andre, inshallah, I'll see you in Mississippi.
Yes, ma'am. Looking forward to it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, ma'am.
Sister Donna Muhammad is with us. I don't have a theme song or anything like that for the women in Islam, but I will get one. You know, the show grows. But Sister Donna, thank you for your patience. I thought I wanted to have you on with Brother Andre at the same time, but I know he had to go, and God, thank God that it was just him, because I learned about Sugar Ditch. Do you know about?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God!
I did not.
I don't see you, Sister Donna, and if I don't, all right, because I was going to hang up right on you. No, Sister Donna, there you go.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you doing, beloved?
I am well by Allah's grace. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Honored to be on the great Liberated Sisters, locking it down with pumps on the ground.
Praise be to Allah, Sister Donna. Okay, everyone listening. The reason I'm laughing so hard is because this sister's energy, her love, her passion, and also her humor, which doesn't just readily flow out if you don't know her. But every time I just see her, I have all these thoughts about great times, funny times, and so they're coming to me as I see her right now. But let me get professional.
Right. Let me put on my professional girl's outfit.
That's right. Sister Donna, so
yes, ma'am.
I don't know. I wonder if you can look directly into your camera.
Oh, I'm not looking at my camera? Okay. Yeah, I don't like being on camera too much. So I'm trying, okay.
I know, right? Thank you. Am
I looking in it?
You are. Okay. Thank you, Sister Donna. Excuse me, let me get myself together.
I can't see you. I'm trying I'm figuring this technology thing out so I can see you.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about when you were on Student Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad's show.
Oh, I'm not looking at my camera.
And Brother Terrace was like, come back to the light. Yeah. So, Donna, thank you for coming on. You are. Cut your volume off.
I am. I'm turning my volume down now. I told you I'm not that technically.
Excuse me, let me get myself together. Because the reverb, the feedback. There you go.
There we go.
Okay, thank you, Sister Donna. So, and thank you in the viewing audience for allowing me that fun time. Donna, thank you for being a part of our Women in Islam series today, and it's a tribute to actually what Mother Tainetta Muhammad has her great books, the Women in Islam series. They're little small pamphlets, red, yellow. I think one is green, right?
Yes.
And I thought about it, Mother Tainetta always championed and guided, not just the world, but the woman. She always is concerned about how we're doing, how we're praising Allah, how are we educating our children, just every single thing, just such a teacher and guide. And so I thought about that, like how she would tour the country. And whenever she came to Los Angeles, she would really implore the women and encourage us to use our hands and use our mind to build the creation and a system, a world for ourselves, right? And so there are sisters like you all across the nation, in small cities, in big cities, in rural towns, who are actually working to serve our people the way Minister Farrakhan would like us to. And so I wanted to highlight some of your work today. You do a lot. You're not only behind the scenes, but you're in front with different talk shows. You help produce a lot. And so talk about, first of all, when you came into the nation.
Oh, okay. Wow. Praise be to Allah. And you're an integral part of me, of my history as well. But I came into the nation, actually, your student minister Student Minister Malik.
Oh, Abdul
It's
Malik. Okay.
how I was fished into the nation. He used to do these classes at Georgia Tech campus.
That's right.
And I was with a brother at that time that was still enrolled in Georgia Tech. I had graduated. And they were called, I think they were called Black Awareness classes. And he was teaching us about so much about ourselves. And really, he was preparing us for coming into the mosque, too, because he taught drill. He taught martial arts. He got us into the mode of opening up in prayer.
Wow.
All of that. And as he spoke more, the brother and myself were like, where are you getting this from? We've never heard these things before. And he, we had some sessions with him. We were like, we need some individual mentoring. And he did that. He would meet us. And if you're from Atlanta, you'll know that we would have J.R. Crickets up across from the Varsity, a popular spot in Atlanta. And we met with him and eventually made our way to the mosque. And I want to say this as a side note, Sister Charlene. We can never underestimate the value of the student ministers and representatives of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
Because I had never heard a lecture by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan before. I really didn't even know who he was. What moved me to join the Nation of Islam was what I heard through his students' mouths, his representation. And then I finally heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at the famous Add It Up lecture.
Add it up.
Add it up. And Minister Malik made sure that we got VIP tickets. And we were on the floor. And at the end, the minister actually did the Shahada. And I didn't really know what that was. But I found myself raising my hand.
Explain it.
Committing.
Explain it now
and
for
thinking,
those who
I don't
might
know
not.
what I just committed to, but whatever this is, I'm in it.
Right. What's the Shahada, Donna? Tell the people who don't know.
And that is when you are confessing, basically you're confessing that there is no God but Allah. And we confess that Muhammad is his messenger. And so it is at that moment, you feel that you are turning your life over to Allah. It is much like how Christians say that they are saved or they're born again. You're making a confession that there is no God, but the one true and living God. And you are committing your life to it. And so I felt it. I was just so moved. And that was it. From that point on, by Allah's permission, I tried to hit the ground running. And so that was the story of me actually coming in. But even before that, it's really funny because the first time I heard of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's name was 1988, and I was in college. And it was my senior year, and I was the chair of the Minority Affairs concerns because I went to a white institution. And I wanted to have a really amazing Black history speaker to wrap out my year. And so a brother there who's a popular DJ in Atlanta now, Ryan Cameron, he's also the announcer for the Hawks and the Falcons in there. We were classmates. And he said, why don't you bring Farrakhan? Now, I had never heard of him. This type of name had never even been in my reality. And my response to him was, we ain't got no money to be bringing an African over here.
No, you didn't.
I'd never heard a name like that before.
Right.
I didn't know, but that seed was dropped because that was the first time I heard it.
Wow.
And it wasn't until 1990 that seed began to take root. And so here I am today.
Wow.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes. And so you are, thank you for that too. The condensed version. I know you condensed it.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are at Mosque number 55 in Memphis, and you host a couple of shows. Tell us about those talk shows and the purpose.
Okay. I am at Muhammad Mosque number 55 under the great leadership and representation of student minister Anthony Muhammad, who, as you pointed out, hosts the Tsunami Prayer Line, but is a great scholar himself, too, is a great scholar and a great person to learn under. And a shout out to my sister student captain, Sister Stephanie Muhammad, one of my biggest supporters who I love so much.
Praise be to Allah.
But I am a co-host on a radio show that actually was originally hosted by student minister Andre, whom we just heard from. And it is hosted by Brother Kenneth X. And I'm a co-host, and it's called SOS. It means Saving Ourselves radio program. And the purpose of this program, which comes on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time, You can catch it on the TuneIn app or on Facebook Live on Kenneth Weems' page. But the purpose of our show is exactly what the words say, saving ourselves. We look to deliver solutions to the listening audience of those things that would help our community, better our community, develop the relationships between one another. So for the last several weeks, we've been dealing with the 9 ministries and how they can be, which was established by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and how they can be tools to aid and develop and answer all the issues that we have in our communities. It's a really comprehensive program that he laid out that we have to really fully embrace. And we've also been dealing with atonement, and atonement from a different perspective, and the need for a healing in our community leading up to the Holy Day of Atonement. But those are just some of the issues we deal with, current events of the day. A lot of issues, but it's about promoting unity and healing for our communities. Thus, again, the name, Saving Ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. As you talked about the Holy Day of Atonement, how was the energy in your city and the day of service? If you actually were there, I'm not sure if you were traveling, but we had a day of service on Saturday, and of course the minister's message on Sunday. Give me the picture there on the ground in Memphis.
Oh, the spirit was off the charts. We started out about 3 to 4 weeks prior to the Holy Day of Atonement, promoting the Memphis Walk for Peace and Family Day.
Yes, you
which
did.
was the brainchild of our student minister, Anthony Muhammad.
Wow.
He spoke about our communities being a community in pain, and then our youth being most victimized. And we have to develop peace in the streets. And there's a lot of organizations doing a lot of good things in Memphis, as there are other places. But then at a certain point in time, you come together as an umbrella group of unity. And so Muhammad Mosque number 55, under his leadership, along with Sister Visha Williams, who's with Drum Squad Records here, Liddell Beeman, who has the Heal the Hood Foundation, which is a wonderful program geared towards youth and saving our youth. And we had local entertainers such as Kenny Coleman of Dirty Fresh Entertainment. And we had Stevie Moore of Stop the Killing. We had support from the school board, Joyce Doris Coleman, who's one of our school board representatives. We had so many people coming together for this day that was devoted to family. So we walked for 1.1 miles in the name of peace in the streets in an area from Wooddale High School to McFarland Community Center, which was one of the partners too, and which is a community center that is really dedicated to taking care of the youth in the community. The director there, Miss Watkins, is like a mother. You know how you have that mother
That's right.
over the community?
Always one.
Yeah, so those children in the community, those are her babies. And she allows us, the Nation of Islam, to host a lot of programs there. For Saving Our Girls, we have a Saving Our Girls summer camp program there as part of their program. But all of these entities came together, along with now, we had a big temperature drop. Memphis had been warm and balmy. And overnight, that temperature dropped.
Wow. It
It was about 40 degrees that morning in Memphis. Now, for people who are in colder climates, you might say that's no big deal. In Memphis, that means bring out your hat, your coat, your scarves, turn on the heat, all of that.
Wow.
But despite that, well over 100 people showed up for the Peace Walk, which culminated in a family day. And the purpose of the family day was to resurrect that spirit of family. And you could feel it all through the atmosphere. But leading up to it, there were a series of press conferences and other events. We spoke on the Latino radio program, Radio Ambiente, and they had 5,000 views of just hearing from us. And they stood with us and said prayer. So it was a coming together of family on that day. And there were speakers, there was entertainment. We heard words from Mrs. Addison, who was the mother of Chusey Parker. Chusey Parker was a beloved Memphis sister who she dealt with gangs and putting down guns, anti-violence, and she actually died trying to promote peace. She was shot herself. She's produced shows. She was just, a fixture in the Memphis community. And her mother spoke on the pain of losing her daughter, because it was just last spring that she was shot, still trying to establish peace between two people. So we heard moving testimonies, but this was only the beginning. As we move towards that 10,000 fearless that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan called for, to not only get between the gangs and the guns, but to make our neighborhoods a safe and decent place to live. We have to move out on that. So that was the spirit of that day, which then flowed into the minister's address on that Sunday, which we also hosted at McFarland Community Center. And the overall sentiment, as I had a chance to interview people afterwards, there was this overwhelming sentiment of, we have to do better. We have to do better for ourselves, and we have to do better for our people. So the message really permeated within the people listening.
Wow. That sounds like it was really big weekend, but it was an actual peace walk.
Yes, and I would like people to go to the page. If you go on Facebook to the Memphis Walk for Peace and Family Day, you can see some of the photos, some of the video footage of that day, the radio programs, the press conference where people stood with us in front of Wooddale High School. Yeah. Please visit it and continue to share it. Yeah. Because it doesn't end on that day. It didn't end on that day. No. There are more events coming forward. That's right. So you can tune in and stay abreast of them and become a part of these.
That's right. That's right. You can, as Brother Andre, Student Minister Andre and I were saying, you really could just take what's happening there, drop it in any city, change the names, just like we're able to do. That's why we're able to do that with the town hall meeting. And he may talk about a sugar ditch, or as he said, what's happening across the country with our people is not unique in Mississippi. It's probably just more acute, right? The same thing with the peace walks, the peace marches, the calls for peace, the prayer vigils, the candlelight vigils. It's like everything is. You ever see Floor of Ants or something? I remember I was appraising a home one time when I was a real estate appraiser, and that was creepy. But I walked into this abandoned home, and there was an energy in there, right? And I'm like, what is this that I'm feeling? And I didn't know what it was, but it was strange. And then your eyes focus, and there was just a bed of, I thought the floor was just dirty, but there was a bed of fleas. It was infested, and it was just like a little tremble, like they were just hopping. It was amazing. But I just said that, like, that's how energy is feeling across the country. Something is just like the pot, right? When you're making that bean soup or that gumbo or whatever you're cooking, and it's just that water's trying to tip that pot over. I feel like it's about to happen.
It is, and that feeling that you're talking about. For listeners who may not have driven down through parts of Mississippi, northern Mississippi or southern Mississippi.
Mississippi.
When you go through there, parts of it, as Student Minister Andre was talking about what it's like, it is. Dr. Ava came through here several years ago as part of it was called the Poverty Tour. And we went through deep down in Mississippi, including Emmett Till's museum. And as he said, the conditions, you will think you're still on a plantation. And though it may seem unbelievable that in this hour people could still be in slavery, when you go down to Mississippi, you see how it's absolutely possible. First of all, it's not that easy to get down in there. There's really just now, in the last few years, a connecting corridor, I-22, to make it easier to get from Tennessee through Mississippi to Georgia, to Atlanta. That just happened. You can tell it is clear from the trees and the mountains that there was never meant to have free passage through there.
That's something.
It's easy to hide plantations there. And when you go through places, you can actually see how, I can see that. I can see that there can be an enclave of people. When we went on that tour, one of the things that we discovered was there were people literally escaping slavery in the 60s and 70s. Now imagine what our life is like right now. And there being groups of people who have no clue.
And they're escaping.
That we were released from plantations.
Yeah.
But when you go there, you can feel it in the trees. You see the people. You can. In fact, I just drove through there this weekend because I had to go to Atlanta. And I was looking out at the trees because I love the trees, but the trees tell stories.
Yeah, they do.
And you feel it. You feel the lynchings. And then when you see the condition of the people, it makes you want to cry. We went to a lady's house. She was an elder lady. She was probably she had to be maybe 80, 75, 80. Her water that she used was collected in a rain barrel. It had algae on it, mosquitoes. Sometimes people would bring her bottled water. As Brother Andre said, you can't call them houses because they're broken down.
Yeah.
Holes in the floorboard. So when you see it, you cannot believe these conditions exist, and it's like an area that time forgot. But these are places that you can access.
No, it's very real. And you call it sharpshooter. We call them sharpshooter houses. And as you continue down, thank you for mentioning Glendora. I didn't mention it, but yeah, that poverty tour must have been something else. I can only imagine. I'm not far down the road, born and raised in Louisiana, and so
yes,
anytime I go down south, it's bittersweet. I'm very happy. I miss home so much. There's nothing like the heart of our people,
yes.
Which is why Katrina and how we were done after during and the aftermath, and even today with Hurricane Katrina was so painful,
Yes.
But that's one of the 8 states, as we're talking about Project Separation, which, we don't have to go too far into what, the actual plan is, but we do know that Minister said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that there were 8 states that we were looking at. And you want to list those 8?
I don't know that. No, I do not.
Okay, got it.
Because I'm not 100% positive, and he hasn't actually always said the 8 states out.
Yeah.
But he has most certainly said Mississippi, and it is and part of it is because it's very minerally rich.
Alabama.
It's fertile.
Yeah.
Yes, Alabama. And when you think about it, it's fertile with us.
Mm-hmm.
It's our blood. It deep in that soil, enriching and nourishing that soil.
Yeah.
It's our bones. It's our body that is enriching. So it makes sense that we would build up out of that very place that is so fertile from us and from our sacrifices and what we go through.
Wow.
It is really key, and really the mindset of the people is ripe for the taking. I love what Student Minister Andre is doing, Student Minister James in South Haven, because they're going deep down into Mississippi. Even though he's in Holly Springs, they go down into Mississippi, places like Tunica and others.
Donna,
there are so many forgotten areas. Yes, ma'am.
Can you imagine? I'm sorry, I'm going back. Can you imagine? Because I'm just now thinking about experiences in high school. I'm in elementary school. I'm in grade school. And we're going on this field trip, and we're going to old plantations. I wasn't tracking then, because being right out of that land, I didn't have a history of slavery. We didn't have the history that I learned coming into the nation about slavery, the enslavement, the period, us before then. I just knew what was taught in the schools in Louisiana. But I think now don't take me to a plantation today.
Well, and when you're in the South, because my
Django
father is from South Georgia.
Oh, God.
And he's talked with me about picking cotton, sharecropping, and even the place that, and I remember going down to South Georgia, to Tifton, and seeing because I was born in the 60s, but in the mid 60s. But I still remember going down there and still seeing the colored only signs on places. And even the place in Georgia where my husband proposed to me, a place called Callaway Gardens. I didn't find out until later that place was not even desegregated until it was either 1974 or 1975.
Man, this is crazy. Ain't that
Think
something?
about that. Think about what you were doing in 1975.
Skating somewhere on the sidewalk. But yeah.
Right. But now think about there actually being a place
like that. Yeah.
Like that in the 70s.
And it's everywhere. Right after the 60s and the Black Power. Isn't that something?
It's something. It's hard to wrap your mind around, but it's very real, and it is it is so significant with Minister Ava Muhammad coming down. And I actually want to, if I could segue a little bit.
You can. We have about 3 minutes for. You can.
Okay.
And then I'm going to talk about Virtue Magazine before we go. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
Just make an announcement.
So, because we're talking about the woman in Islam,
and
we're talking about Minister Ava, I wanted to read something real quick about the woman from her book, Naturally Beautiful.
Show it. Show the whole book, Donna. Yeah.
Can you see it?
There it is. Thank you.
This profound book, so I want to read 2 quick things from it.
Please do.
To keep us on topic of the mindset of the woman in Islam.
Yes.
The first one is a quote that she has in here from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And it says, "And where there are no decent women, there can never be a decent man. And where women are hurled down, men can never be lifted up. So the destiny of the individual, the destiny of the nation depends upon the mother. The woman, true to her feminine nature, is really advanced over the man, not because of her beauty, not because of her accomplishments, or even the nature of her love when correctly awakened, but because she possesses the womb, the laboratory wherein are fashioned those who will inhabit the world, where she cooperates with or is an assistant to Allah, God, in the formation, reformation, and final completion of the human being. There is no reformation without the reform of a woman." And so I thought that was really powerful. And Minister Ava writes, "All human life is created by Allah in the womb of a female. The only human being in the entire history of the universe who came into existence without coming through the womb of a female is the God who created himself and from the triple darkness of space, the originator of the heavens and the earth. And before he created anything or anyone else, he created the woman. After her came everything and everyone else." And so I think it's no coincidence that Minister Ava has picked up the banner.
That's right.
On a word from the minister to go forth with this project separation, to separate.
Thank you. Sister Donna, thank you so much that was very, very beautiful to round out our show with those words from Student Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad. Would you make one very short announcement about Virtue Magazine? I want to show the cover. We have the image here. So would you let us know, this is our beautiful sister, Student Minister Kenya Muhammad. Sister Donna, let us know how we can get Virtue Magazine.
Okay, this is awesome because this is a limited print edition, so you want to hurry up and get it too. And you want to go to www. Of course, it's slipping my mind right at this moment. Virtue Today, I believe it is .com. But visit the website of Audrey A. Muhammad, who is the amazing, phenomenal publisher of this magazine that is dedicated to the upliftment and empowerment of women. You're not going to find a publication like this right now anywhere.
That's right. Thank you. That's right. I had to pull it as we close out the show, and it's Virtue Mag Today. It's virtuetodaymag.com. Yes. Virtuetodaymag.com. Thank you, Sister Audrey, for the beautiful magazine and idea. And Sister Donna, we have to wrap. I want to say thank you so much for coming and for sharing yourself with us and for all that you do.
Thank you so much, my sister. You know I love you.
I love you too. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
That's our show for today. I want to say also thank you to Student Minister Andre Muhammad, and thank you to Felicia, the Poetess Morris, and Morris Media Studios. NOI.org for Minister Farrakhan's full Holy Day of Atonement address. FinalCall.com to purchase the newspaper as well as see the coverage of his address. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad saying, if it's impacting our community or can uplift us as a people, let's talk about it. Peace.